came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene. Yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team. Yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around. You know that I roll with some kings. We sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We soaring to places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He's starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, come on fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. You sit it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, and I'm back. Back for you with another new part of What If Izuku Had Digimon. This is part 27, and let's go with that of a necessary recap. In that of the last part, the final exams for that of Class 1A is about to come to an end between that of Izuku and Bakugo versus against that of Control, with Izuku wanting to make a, plan with that of Bakugo. However, Bakugo's stubbornness and pride wouldn't allow him, not one bit. So basically, the two went on their own, with Izuku deciding to use that of his three strongest Digimon to hold off that of, Mitsugane's three strongest Digimon. Rapidmon fighting against that of Pyhildramon. Dora Greymon fighting against that of, Shakuomon. And Mont Galgramon fighting against that of Sylphimon, while he is on that of his Digimon heading to the exit. However, with every step, every plan, and every counter, Izuku utterly still fails alongside Bakugo, mainly because Bakugo arrogantly attacks that of Izuku's Digimon alongside that of, Mitsugane's Digimon. He basically rigged it from the start with explosives, basically at that of the exit way, and even prevented Lady Devimon to basically make it to the exit while heading back into that of Solomon, with Doraemon taking his anger out on that of Bakugo, basically ranting angrily and even aggressively crying, asking why Bakugo hates Izuku so damn much, with Bakugo's words before passing out being, he doesn't remember. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? The very next day, classes are a little bit, still the same, but there's a little bit of a tension in the air, to be honest. The fact is that, even though a lot of them passed and some of them failed, mainly that of, Kaminari and Mina, a little bit worried that they failed after all, alongside that of Sato and Kirishima, too. But what really feels off is that, Bakugo, still in that of his, still basically slumped down to his head down, looking at his desk, not even saying a damn thing at all day, with Izuku behind him, just looking at the window, with then Shoto walking up to Ida saying, they've been like that almost since the moment they come into the class. I mean, I know they failed, but to think it'd be that bad. With then Ida chomping his arm fiercely saying, you saw what we saw. They failed because they refused to work together. Not to mention, it looks like that of Mr. Mitsugane basically rigged it from the start, it seemed, with Ochako a little bit worried, saying, is that even fair? I mean, I know they said that they would basically give us at least somewhat of a chance with those weights, but I don't even think those weights were even needed, to be fair for him. With Kirishima saying, yeah, honestly, it reminded us of Cementos. What me and Sato, we couldn't even basically break through. With Sero saying, that's because you guys just basically went for a full-on assault instead of, running away. With then Kirishima saying, running away is not manly. You gotta stand your ground after all. With then, that's when Tokuyami, alongside Falcomon, stepped in saying, yes, and look what happened to Bakugo during his exam, causing Bakugo to flinch and basically clench his fist at hearing that. With Falcomon saying, Midoriya had the right way too. I'm not saying he was in the wrong either. He should have stand and fight with that of Bakugo too, and work together. But it seems both of them had their hang-ups on how to basically do things, and refused to work with each other properly. In the end of the day, they both have their self to blame for the results of the test. Nothing more and nothing less. With hearing all that, both of them are basically correct. Even Izuku is aware, as he takes that of Falcomon's words to heart. However, Bakugo, on the other hand, part of him refuses. He refuses that he failed, that it's his fault, but part of him realized that he knows. He knows that it was also his fault too, but he just can't accept it. Within, coming through that other door, being Aizawa, with saying, good, you're all here and you're all in your seats. Perfect. With then saying, as for your final exams, I'm going to give you them straight up and from the very beginning. With then, soon everybody a little bit tensing up, as he says this with that of a big smile on his face, saying, none of you will basically be cut from that of the summer camp. You'll all be going. But then, hearing that, everybody is basically shocked and surprised. With then, Ochako scream out, but you said! With then, even Kaminari saying, I can't believe you, Teach! You lied to us again? With then, Aizawa, no longer smiling, saying, if I told you basically what you all wanted, would you given it your all to begin with? But then, once again, hearing that logic, they all basically quiet down before then saying, even so, none of you will be basically removed from that of the summer camp because it's too vital to your growth as pro heroes after all. However, those who failed, though, will be taking that of extra supplementary classes. So Kirishima, Sato, Ashido, Kaminari, Midoriya, and Bakugo, even you, Sero, you'll all be taking that of supplementary classes. With then, hearing all that, basically Mina saying, oh man, with Kaminari saying, that's to be expected, but dang, that's so annoying. With then, Bakugo couldn't help but grit his teeth, but he just stays quiet. As we realize that, of course he has to do this. He has to, but he hates it. He hates to accept it. With even Izuku saying, yes, sir, I understand, sir. Within looking at the two people that he feels like should have passed to begin with, but yet they didn't. Before then, Aizawa goes through that of a flashback yesterday evening. Within, looking over all the results for each of Class 1A, as they need to prepare for that of Class 1B's finals being tomorrow after all, as he goes to a certain teacher with that of a nonchalant look, looking through that of his, files on his Digivice sunglasses, being Mitsugane, within saying, Mitsuo, we need to talk. Within saying, you're using my first name. Alright, Choda, let's go. This has to be important if you're doing that. With that, leaving that of the, teacher's faculty room, within, he soon basically grabs that of the Digimon taming teacher by that of his collar, within saying, explain yourself. I know we basically made it, or it'd be hard for the students to basically pass, but we shouldn't basically rigged it the way you did. You prevented anyone from basically entering that of the exit way to get through at all, didn't you? I want to answer why. Why would you go through that? Within, soon, I'm basically grabbing that of his former friend, now co-worker's hand, saying, The same reason that you basically made it where certain teachers had to go against certain students after all, to lay bare all their flaws. Within hearing that, Aizawa's eyes widening, with that of a look of seriousness saying, you know Bakugo would have passed if he was with anyone else in Class 1A. Hell, we all know he would have passed willingly with anyone else in Class 1A if it wasn't for one person, Izuku Midoriya. Within, soon Aizawa saying, that's because if you really think that they are basically some kind of rivals with each other, you need to grow the hell up, Aizawa. Within, hearing this, he soon basically takes his sunglasses off. His Digivice sunglasses off, with seeing that of his amber eyes, saying they went to the same junior high school. Not just that, they also went to the same elementary school. They grew up around that in the same neighborhood. You would think, because of this, they're close friends, possibly. And seeing on how they have different nicknames for each other shows it. However, you can tell that they both fallen out. And you would think it's because of Midoriya, due to Bakugo's anger and aggressiveness, right? But yet, Izuku Midoriya is a kind, caring, and basically always empathetic person, more than that of Katsuki Bakugo, who basically belittles nicknames and constantly insults his classmates, even those who are basically close with him. Unlike you, who has that of a form of annoyance, but a form of acceptance as well. Within, saying, you didn't hear what I heard during that exam. Bakugo even admitted it himself. He would rather lose and fail this exam than work with Izuku Midoriya. Within, hearing this, Aizawa saying, you can't be serious, saying, oh, I am, 100%. We're trying to make the next generation of heroes, Shota. The next generation of heroes that don't basically put their pride, their ego, and would end up getting multiple people killed. And that's exactly what Bakugo did during this entire exam, proving me right, that he should be looked into. Within, saying, during the summer, while I know Class 1A gets at least that of 1 week off before the summer camp, alongside that of Class 1B, I'm going to be doing some research into that of Aldera Junior High, and even that of their elementary school too. Because you are aware that Izuku's Digimon is actual living beings, given that you were informed ahead of time by Nezu, right? Within hearing that, saying, do what you want. I hope you inform the police ahead of time about your investigation, saying, I already have, right after I finished the exam. Because to be honest, we can't have that of two students who basically can't stand each other, refuse to work with each other. It's bad enough that we have that this rivalry stands from also Class 1B to Class 1A. We don't need that within that of the own homeroom classes too. So I think you need to basically start in addressing this crap before it gets out of hand. With that, soon he heads back into that of the faculty room. Within, Aizawa basically taking one huge sigh, saying, you never change after all these years. And the worst part is, I hate that you're right. With that, he also heads back inside too, before getting out of that of his own memory, saying, however, Bakugo and Midoriya, you'll be at least a little bit more lenient with you, given that your exam was more rigged than any of the other ones after all. Hearing that, the two couldn't help but perk up a bit before saying, but don't get me wrong, you'll still be taking those classes, just not as many as the others will. Within hearing that, Kirishima, Sato, Mina, Kaminari, and even that of Sero couldn't help but groan in that of annoyance, anger, and even whine at how unfair it is. But as for Bakugo, he couldn't help but basically grit his teeth, but accept it too. Seen as somewhat lenient, within, Izuku can help but smile a bit before thinking about that of his Digimon partners, especially a certain, well, one of his only female Digimon that actually still hasn't reacted after what happened yesterday. As the day now goes by, with classes basically going as usual as always, before then it's now lunchtime. With everybody in Class 1A, mainly those of Izuku's friend group, eating lunch together, with Izuku's Digimon also eating lunch alongside that of Shoto's Digimon and also that of Ida, too. Even Shoji eating alongside them with that of his Jellymon, too. However, there's only one Digimon that hasn't eaten at all or hasn't even come out, and that being Black Gatomon. With then Tsuyu saying, "Hey, Midoriya, can I ask, where is Black Gatomon?" Then him basically blinking saying, "She's still in my Digivice, actually. She hasn't came out since, well, what happened during final exam, so..." With hearing that, that's when Setsuna sitting right next to her boyfriend saying, "Really? Is everything wrong? I mean, I heard that you failed your exams from your text, but..." With then saying she's taking it the hardest out of all of us. With then, Terriermon spoke up saying, "Tell me about it. She was the one who was trying the hardest to basically help Izuku and even Bakugo pass. And yet, Control basically decided to say that her efforts basically were meaningless with that shove from her special attack after all, to prevent her from even going through that of the gate at all. Honestly, it's kind of brutal." With then Goromon saying, "Yeah, hell man, honestly, just imagine if, Aizawa had quirk actually affected Digimon. It kind of terrifies me, don't you think?" Within Blukomon staying quiet but nodding, saying, "Yeah." With Shoto thinking, "Have you tried talking to her, Midoriya?" With Finn saying, "I've tried, and yet nothing works. Heck, even when I try digivolving her back into that of Black Gatomon, she still stays in that of Solomon, showing that she's restricting that of, digivolving entirely." With Finn hearing that, Jellymon saying, "Wait, she's restricting a Digivolution herself? Oh, that is bad. Really bad." Within Momo actually sitting with that of, them as well, saying, "How bad are we talking, actually?" Within Ryudomon speaking up saying, "It is quite bad, Lady Yaoyorozu. If a Digimon is basically restricting that of their own tamer, in a way, because normally it is the tamer's will, thoughts, and emotions that allows that of Digimon to digivolve. Digimon can also digivolve without that of a tamer, but it takes that of a lot of willpower, strength, and a strong sense of self. But also doing so, you can't digivolve back without that of a tamer, though. It's kind of a downside of being an independent Digimon. You gain a lot of power, but unless you know how to control it, or you feel like it's too much, it can be overwhelming in some times." Within hearing that, Izuku saying, "It's my fault. If I knew about that of Mr. Mitsugane's plan for us for the exam, then maybe I could have thought this out, or better yet, I could have just worked better with that of Kachan. I should have tried more." Within, Doraemon spoke up, saying, "Don't even bother with them, Izuku." Within, looking at that of the purple-furred dragon-like Digimon, Beast Dragon Digimon, is saying, "That guy is basically lost cause. He's not worth your attention anymore." With Izuku shocked by this, as he knew that, Doraemon always hated Bakugo, and always had that of a grudge against him, but to think that he would basically just tell him to just completely forget about him, it makes him feel a bit, unhinged and unnerved to forget about somebody like that of Bakugo, like that of Kachan. But then, that's when Galmon saying, Boss, if this keeps up, you may not have to use that of, well, Black Gatsumon or Solomon anymore for a while until she's out of her funk. If that's the case, then hearing that, that's when Setsuna finally spoke up saying, how about you basically how about I speak to her actually? Bring her out, actually, to be honest. I think I can talk to her. With Izuku a little bit caught off guard by that of Setsuna's words, but then deciding to trust her, putting on that of his Digivice goggles, and bringing out that of Solomon, who is even now still basically curled up, actually, not looking at anybody, looking down, and in that of Izuku's lap, as then soon, that's when Setsuna grabs her, saying, I'll be back, guys. Before letting that of, Setsuna go, as Izuku lets her through from the table and then heads out. Within, Ochako saying, I wonder what she's going to say or do. Then Izuku saying, I don't know, but I feel like she may be the only one that can help because no matter what I say or even tell her that it's not her fault, she never responds. And I can't help but worry about her. Within hearing that, Izuku just couldn't help but feel down, saying, I'm trusting you, Setsuna. Outside of that of the cafeteria, right in that of a nearby empty hallway, where nobody can notice, saying, alright, you can stop acting for a bit. Or, if you're not, I think we can talk a bit. Because I can tell you don't like me. Within, soon hearing that, Solomon just spoke up saying, gee, what gave it away? Within saying, well, pretty much your attitude towards me all the time, actually. I know how Doraemon basically gets uncomfortable with me. Ryutamon also feeling like I basically cling on to him too much. Terriermon is cool, alongside that of, Galmon. And even that of Vmon is actually pretty sweet for a little guy. But you're the only person that basically downright hates me. And the reason that you feel like you let down Izuku is because you love him, don't you? But then, hearing that, Solomon basically jumps out of that of Setsuna's arm saying, and how did you find out? With them saying, lucky guess. Plus, the way how you look at Izuku after all. And how much you how much you really, really hate me for being around him. Within, she basically, as Solomon looking down saying, look, I don't entirely hate you. I hate the fact that he chose you over me. With then going down to one knee as Setsuna saying, oh, trust me, jealousy is one hell of a thing, girl. And I actually do feel you. But you do know that Izuku does care about you. He worries about you. Especially that you're hard now. That you're not Black Gatomon right now. That you're just stuck in your rookie form, was it? I'm still getting used to that Digimon after all. And figuring things out. As Solomon looking to the side. Before then, looking her in her eyes saying, I failed him. I absolutely failed him. I could have basically got him to pass no matter what I tried. And I know he keeps telling me that it's not my fault. And everybody else tells me that it's not my fault. That I tried so hard. But I didn't try hard enough. I didn't try hard enough for Izuku. And because of that, he's going to be taking that as supplementary classes. It's my fault. People can blame that dumbass Bakugo all they want. But I'm the one who should have basically made sure that he passed. Even while I was still in rookie form. I should have still gone. I should have still made it. I still... As then, Solomon begins to basically cry. As tears basically wielding up in her eyes. But then, that's when Setsuna saying, you still can. You still can protect him. Still look after him. Still give it your all no matter what. You believe yourself that you are not worthy. That you don't deserve it. That you can't deserve your joy. That you don't deserve that of the joy that you are given after all. to be there with him. Because, as much as I hate to say it, I'm not strong enough to look after Izuku. I'm not powerful enough. My quirk is mainly good for that of espionage, strategy, and tactics. I'm not good at combat or fighting, but you guys are. And even though I can't be there for that of my beloved Greenie, I can at least be there knowing that you guys have his back. And knowing that the one girl that I feel like I can trust the most with that of my man is basically beating herself up, it's starting to make me think otherwise. Within hearing that, she's saying, "You what?" Saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm starting to think otherwise. Saying that you're basically slumped this hard after all, after one little defeat." Within hearing this, with saying, "You know what? Screw you." But then she's saying, "Oh, yeah, screw you. Like I need your permission to basically look after my tamer, my partner, the one person I basically cherish about even more than that of my own fellow Digimon. I don't need your damn permission or your damn adoration at all. I'm going to protect Izuku no matter what anyone says." With then saying, "Then prove it. Stop basically moping like some sad little puppy and go back to being the bad bitch black cat that you are." Hearing those words, saying, "All right, but you got yourself to blame for that after all." Saying, "Good. Now, come on. I want to finish my lunch before classes start back up after all. And I want to make sure that Izuku is at his best when that of hero study classes start back up in this afternoon." But then she basically scoffing, saying, "You don't need to tell me twice." With that, both ladies head back inside, with Izuku noticing this, seeing them walk together, as then, soon, Setsuna basically kisses Izuku on the cheek, saying, "You're welcome," as she sits right back next to him. With then Izuku blushing pretty hard, with his face even going completely red, but that he faces that out, but then looking back at that of Solomon, saying, "Solomon, are you Digivolve me?" Izuku saying, "Huh? I said Digivolve me." With then saying, "Oh, right." As he does that in a blink of an eye, within Gatomon digivolving back, and out of a bright flash, she digivolves back into that of Black Gatomon. Within, she's saying, "Feels good now. All right, I'm good. Hey, you idiots made sure to get me something to eat, didn't you?" Within, soon, Doramon, Terriermon, alongside that of Galmon, completely and utterly shocked. Within, soon, Ryutamon offering that as some fish for that of Black Gatomon, saying, "Here you go, grilled fish for you, Lady Black Gatomon." "Thank you, Ryutamon. You're always what I can rely on." As she begins to eat that of the grilled fish. Within, soon, Izuku saying, "What did you say to her, Setsuna?" Within, she starts eating that of her lunch again, saying, "Oh, just a little girl-to-girl talk. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing you need to worry about your pretty little green freckled face." Within, hearing that, as he blushes again. With that, it looks like some things are back to normal among that of Izuku's Digimon now. However, all the way in that of Tokyo and that of Kamino Ward, what is that of 4 figures walking through the alleyways. Within, you could hear that of a girl saying, "Are we almost there yet? I'm really looking forward to meeting him after all. Mr. Staney, I mean." Within, that's when that of a young man's voice, as it sounds somewhat a little bit raspy, saying, "Will you quiet down already? Gurren, are we almost there?" Within saying, hold on, just a little bit." Before then, you could see that of another young man. However, this young man being quite familiar. Within saying, "I'm guessing we're already here now. You just been basically trying to be dramatic after all." Saying, "Always getting me, aren't you, that of Kensei?" As it being Kensei Magatame, basically the young man that Bakugo met during his internship and is somewhat close with that of Best Genius. with that of his circle frame glasses, short black hair, and camo, t-shirt with the sleeveless jacket. As he adjusts his glasses, saying, "This job is supposed to pay a lot. I need the payment, Gurren." Right, I get it. Come on. As they head up that of a small flight of stairs. Before then, Gurren knocks the door and opens it for a bit, cracking it, saying, "Hey, Shigaraki, I hear that you and your league have been making quite a bit of a stir in the underworld lately, and even on that of the news." Within, soon, Lusamon saying, "Gurren, right on time." Within, Gurren saying, "Of course, I brought some like-minded individuals that would basically like to join the league." Within, Shigaraki, alongside Lusamon, look at each other before looking at Gurren, with Lusamon basically crossing his arms, and Shigaraki saying, "What do you have for us?" With soon, the three individuals come inside, as it being that of a girl with that of blonde hair with messy pigtail buns and cat-like yellow eyes, wearing that of a yellow cardigan, school uniform. And if you look closely at her mouth, she has that of quite sharp teeth, with the other being that of a guy wearing a navy blue black, jacket and pants, showing quite a bit of, burn scars and also piercings across his face, with his spiky black hair, and that of Kensei, with his hands in his pockets, just waiting for how this interaction goes. Within, soon, Gurren saying, let me introduce you to that of these three, lovely individuals who wish to join the League of Villains. With, soon, the girl with that of blonde hair saying, "So this is the League of Villains, the one that Mr. Staney is a part of. I want to join to be just like him." Within, soon Dobby looking at that of Shigaraki saying, "I've seen you before. I knew you were ugly on that of the TV, but you're even worse in person." With soon looking at that of Lusamon saying, "And you're the Digimon, right?" Within saying, "Oh, you're aware of Digimon," which means saying, "If you think I'm going to show you my Digimon, you got another thing coming. They only come out when I want them to, and I got no reason to show them off to you guys unless I understand what's going on." Within, soon, Kensei saying, "Are we done here?" Within, soon, moving past both that of the two villains, saying, "The name is Kensei Magatsu. Let's make this clear. Tomura Shigaraki, was it? And Lusamon, one of the 7 Demon Lord Digimon, right?" Within, hearing that, saying, "You know your stuff if you know the lore of Digimon." Saying, "I got a few Digimon who've known quite a bit, especially since they've been in the digital world longer than you think. The thing is, I'm not here to join the League of Villains. I'm only here for a job. Gurren said that he would pay me and the League would pay me for that if I do this job after all. I'm not interested in joining your little club to basically destroy Hero Society, even though it is, I do agree, corrupt, twisted, and basically full of hypocrites and not even true heroes. That needs to be wiped out and destroyed. However, doing so would also cause a bit of a uproar that would cause more problems than it solved. So I'm only here for that of one thing only. The next time that the League of Villains does something against either UA or Hero Society in general, I get paid for it. Simple as that. I'll give it my all, only for the paycheck. Do I make myself clear?" Within, hearing that, soon, Shigaraki getting annoyed at this, saying, "Neo Devimon, send them away." As soon as he says that, that's when Neo Devimon appears. Within Gurren going, whoa, let me explain things, Shigaraki. Bringing in these people wasn't not as easy as you think it was, Shigaraki. You see, the lovely lady here, Himiko Toga, is basically a known serial killer that's caused quite a bit of a bloodbath in that of several prefectures across that of the Kanto region. And the young man here, he's taken in quite of a idealistic for that of Stain after all. Not to mention, like he said, he's got Digimon. And I figure the more Digimon firepower you got, the more chances you'll be able to basically get an upper hand on the heroes after all. Don't you all agree? And like I said, this guy right here, placing his hand on that of Kensei's, left shoulder, saying, he is quite capable. He's smart, diligent, and actually is quite a skilled hacker too, and programmer and coding. I'm pretty sure he can even give you a run for your money, Lusamon. With Lusamon hearing this saying, I beg to differ. Honestly, you could vouch for him all you want. If he wants to work with us, he'll work with us. But then Shigaraki saying, are you defying me, Lusamon? With Lusamon looking at his human tamer saying, Tomura, be reasonable about this. We lost Kurogiri. Neo Devimon is a replacement for him, but he's not the best replacement given that he only obeys and listens to you. As the silent mask-like, Devimon hybrid Digimon looks over to that of Lusamon and Shigaraki, and that of confusion, given that his name was said after all, still halfway out of the portal that he made. And we need all the allies we can get for our next job against that of Hero Society. Going after All Might is basically a death sentence now. We need to think things through now. Then soon, Shigaraki saying, you say that, but what chance do they have that they're against us? Those damn Digimon of UA, and they're so more powerful, even in you and that of your fallen mode wasn't much. Within hearing that, Lusamon saying, are you really trying to piss me off, Tomura? This isn't the time for us to. Within soon, that's when that of the burn scar villain saying, if you're wondering on who I am, the name is Dabi. Look, I could care less about your little league. Like that of Gurren said, I'm here to basically take up the ideas and mantle of that of Stain, after all. If the League of Villains basically plans on doing that, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. With Toga soon saying, yeah, what about Mr. Staney? I want to know more about him. What was his likes? What is his hobbies? Since he was part of the League, right? Kensei basically rolls his eyes and basically heads to the door. Within soon, Gurren saying, hey, Kensei, I already said I would take the job and work with the League of Villains as long as I'm paid. That hasn't changed, but we're done with this meeting. I'll be back the next time you call me. Right now, I have another job to take care of until I get paid properly. With that, he soon leaves. Soon, as the man basically heads down the stairs, before sighing and that of annoyance saying, that's going to be one dysfunctional team of villains. Their ideologies and goals are so basically out of there. Not to mention the fact that within, hearing that of a voice in his ear, being that he still has his earphones in, with that of Decadramon speaking from his Digivice saying, it's because if they only knew the truth that entire video was basically doctored and basically manipulated by that of Lusamon himself. His data and prints and code are all over the video. Within, soon, Kensei saying pretty much anyone who basically took a fondness or listens to that of Stain's words or ideology, it's all because they've been manipulated him into that of a martyr, which I could care less. But I do believe in the ideas that he was spitting, though. This hero society, the current hero society that was built by All Might himself, has become too corrupt, decayed, and consumed by that of fake and immoral heroes. They don't care about doing their job to help others. They only care about caring about themselves, how much money, fame, and fortune they'll gain from it. Nothing more, nothing less. And Stain basically seeing All Might as a true hero, it makes me want to laugh even more. The man is so blind to the very hero society that he built that he doesn't even know what's happening underneath his noses. It's kind of disgusting. As Decadramon saying, so, what are you gonna do once the job is done? As soon going, it was what we always done. Continue getting the money that we need to support Mom's hospital bills. Nothing more, nothing less. As for Tomura Shigaraki, I don't know. The way that he has a Lucamon, the guy has potential, but the way that he is now, I doubt he's somebody that anybody would basically follow willingly, unless that there's an ulterior motive behind it. That's only it. But until then, the League is nothing but a means to an end for my goals, and my goals alone. With Decadramon saying, and we will always follow you. Always. Ken. With that, that's when the mysterious tamer walks away from Camino Ward, wondering on what fate holds for him and the League and current society now. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, hope you guys enjoyed this. A little bit of a heads up in the next part. It's going to be like the same as season 2, at the end of season 2. Izuku and Shigaraki are basically going to have a little talk before then. Then after that, we're not going to go straight into that of the summer camp arc. We're basically going to go into that of the Two Heroes movie because again, the movies are canon to the lore after all. So yeah. So skipping them would basically be that of, well, sacrilege after all. So, at any rate. Also, I need a little bit of a favor, guys. After this this part comes out, I'll probably going to make a poll because I have been debating on switching that of Terriermon's Mega form. It was originally going to be that of Mega Gargamon, but I'm thinking about choosing that of something different, which you'll see in that of the poll after all. So this is just a little bit of a heads up and keep an eye for that on my community post. So yeah, at any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, get to my videos up at the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, side channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care. You know what to do, Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!